Phoenix, Arizona has been called ground zero in the fight of Latino families against harsh immigration laws, which had been separating families and sowing fear in an entire community, affecting as much as 40% of the city's population for more than a decade now. This is the Arizona Center of Empowerment. Here, with piñatas and cake, a couple dozen activists celebrate 6 years of the DACA program, short for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which was created by President Barack Obama on June 15, 2012.
We've been attacked here in Arizona for a long time. From before Trump, we had Arpaio, we have SB 1070, Jan Brewer. Police and ICE are still working together. So we've been attacked for a long time, and we've had to learn to fight back. And we've been fighting back. We've been winning. We got rid of Arpaio. We raised the minimum wage. That proposition got more votes than any other candidate that entire election cycle, and we're only getting stronger.
Aldo Gonzalez is one of the project leaders here and the leading voice in today's meeting. He calls the demographics of the city and state as one of the deciding factors in this political fight.
We have a fighting chance, and we're getting to the tipping point where we're going to start winning, and from there, there's no turning back. No matter what the other side does, they're not going to be able to stop us.
DACA allows for some individuals who were brought to the United States illegally as children to receive a renewable 2-year period of deferred action from deportation and to become eligible for a work permit in the United States. However, unlike the DREAM Act, DACA does not allow a path for permanent residence or voting rights. Yet that has not stopped these young activists and DACA recipients from building political power of their own.
One of the main things that we do is we canvass, we go door to door knocking on individuals' houses to really build people power. That's what the State Power Project is about, relying on the sole foundation of our community rather than big funders. The membership dues range from $10 to wherever that individual can afford, right? But to get away from the big funders and the strings that come attached to it, right? So we're able to build what our community wants, not what the big funders want.
At the Arizona Center of Empowerment, not only they successfully launched the proposition to raise the minimum wage, and they get thousands of non-partisan registrations to vote, but they are causing impacts in the community in areas like education as well. For example, Pedro Paredes is organizing a non-partisan panel in education with candidates to various posts. They will discuss initiatives to improve education in the state.
Yeah, so a lot of parents have been leaving for issues because of immigrations. They've been scared to send their kids to school because they feel like they're not going to come back. As well, because of the cut of fundings, they're looking for something better. I think in the whole district there was about 600 to 700 students leaving. It's a big drop, and that's why ACE and AEA have partnered up to implement community schools inside of that school district.
ACE is a community organization born from the first wave of resistance against SB 1070, the racist law, which eventually was taken down by the Supreme Court. At the time, this was viewed as a victory by a community that organized in force. Now, almost 10 years after, they are trying to replicate that success.
The reason why I got involved in 2010, it was because I was scared. I was scared my family being undocumented and having a law, like the racist law like SB 1070, would result in the separation of my family. So, like many families across Arizona, my family is a product of that fear that SB 1070 infused into our communities, but we decided to fight back and not run away.
To be clear, while President Obama did sign the DREAM Act and the DACA programs to prevent children from being deported, the same Latino families used to call him the Deporter-in-Chief. The Democratic president's administration deported a record 5 million people. This extreme measure also affected many more millions across the United States who had a family member or friend deported. Under Trump, arrest numbers have gone up by 32%. The Washington Post reports that immigration courts are setting hearings for 6 years from now. Such is the backlog of pending cases and arrests to process. People spend years in jail, even more so after the Supreme Court ruling denying immigrants of bail hearings. So fear is very real today, and it takes one member to affect a whole family.
So my aunt's life has been impacted by fear in that she's just a prisoner here. This is what she's known for 25 years. She's raised her kids here, her children, and she lives inside her home. She's so scared to go out to Walmart or wherever.
Veronica Benitez, 21 years old, is a volunteer at the center.
We have a lot of youth here actually who are outside getting people registered to vote to get good people in office. And it's a lot of like high school kids, which are like in 10th, 11th, 12th grade. After school, they take the light rail here and they go out and register people to vote because they know that by voting, we can make a change.
Many young activists like Daniela Benitez, 19 years old, canvass the neighborhoods, registering people to vote.
I actually found a girl who was like the same age as me. She was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to vote. And when we go out, we like to share, share a little bit about us, share about the organization that we work with. And I shared a little bit how I'm documented. And she was like wondering if I can vote, and I was like, no, I can't vote. But my job right now is to really get those people that can vote to be that vote for us.
The activists of Arizona Center of Empowerment refuse to give in to fear and the slow kind of terror infused by Trump's racist rhetoric and Jeff Sessions' zero tolerance policies.
The first year, the people were very like, oh, I don't even want to vote, and we convinced them to vote. Second year, they would say things like, okay, I voted last time, I'll vote again. And then the third year that we would get responses like, oh, I already sent in my ballot. I already filled it out and I already sent it. So we're seeing people starting to change, and now we can say we took out Arpaio, you took out Arpaio. You and your family who voted, you are the reason why we took Arpaio out, and that's why you need to get involved. And I have seen an increase of participation, politicization, people more aware of the issues that are going on, and not so easily fooled by propaganda or by distractions like sports or celebrities.
The Real News will continue to follow grassroots efforts to organize and make an impact in their communities. From Phoenix, Arizona, this is Oscar Leon.